There's a great delusion in modern scientific thinking prominently exhibited by Richard Dawkins. It is that the theory of evolution springs inexorably from the scientific data, that evolution is a theory based on zero assumptions, and that the evolutionary narrative has naturally arisen from a solid, objective foundation of incontrovertible facts. And of course, Dawkins believes that anyone open to the evidence will see it that way.
What they do is simply stick their fingers in their ear and say la la la. They know what's true because it's in the holy book. And that even, the most extreme case is the geologist Kurt Wise, who has a PhD in geology from Harvard, and said, if all the evidence in the universe pointed towards an old Earth, I would be the first to admit it, but I would still be a young Earth creationist because that is what Holy Scripture teaches me. You cannot argue with a mind like that. A mind like that, it seems to me, is, well, a disgrace to the human species.
Dawkins knows that in order to think rationally and discover truth, one must be open to new evidence. But he also says this.
Given that the host of arguments don't work, what would it take for you to believe in God?
Well, I used to say it would be very simple. It would be, the second coming of Jesus or a great big, deep, booming bass Paul Robeson voice saying, I am God and I created. But I was persuaded mostly by actually Steve Zara, who's a regular contributor to my website, richarddawkins.net. He more or less persuaded me that even if there was this booming voice and the second coming in clouds of glory, the more probable explanation is that it's a hallucination or a conjuring trick by David Copperfield or something.
So what would persuade you?
Well, I'm starting to think nothing would, which in a way goes against the grain, because I've always paid lip service to the view that a scientist should change his mind when evidence is forthcoming.
Dawkins is a hypocrite. By his own admission, his views are just as impervious to scientific data as Kurt Wise's are. Dawkins claims that it is impossible for someone to argue with Kurt. That's not true. I have argued with Kurt, so I know it's possible. What Dawkins doesn't understand is that in order for us to have rational arguments with each other and understand the nature of reality better, we must openly discuss the assumptions guiding our thinking.